All right, it's time to get the boys from Matt Stone Racing on NTI Inside the eSeries. And what a night they had at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit and in Barcelona over 4 really impressive races on Wednesday night. In no particular order whatsoever, let's welcome the yellow cover driver, Garry Jacobson. Hello, Garry.
Hey, mate. Bit of a change to the scenery this year, isn't it? I spend more time in my simulator these days than anywhere else. But how fun's this year been just adapting to this new isolated lifestyle we have?
Jake Kostecki is on the show as well. Had a terrific night on Wednesday night. We'll talk to Jake about that in a minute. G'day, Jake. How are you going through this crazy period we're living in?
Yeah, I'm very well. It's a bit different, isn't it? But I'm enjoying myself and just being on the simulator, which has been okay. It's a bit different to racing, but yeah, we'll be all right.
And another promising night as well for Zane Goddard, the third of our Matt Stone Racing trio on the program. G'day, Zane. Where are you calling in from today?
Calling in from my living room. I was just watching some Netflix, so here I am.
That's the life, isn't it, boys? Bit of sim racing, bit of Netflix, YouTube accounts probably getting smashed. How are you guys passing the time? Garry, we'll start with you. Outside of sim racing, what's been going on in your world in the last 3 or 4 weeks?
Well, my original work before I started racing in main game was bus driving. So our family business that started in 1958 with transporting kids to school and delivering goods with trucks and buses and things like that. We've been trying to adapt to taking kids to school that might have parents that work in those essential jobs. I did a couple of bus runs as we were picking up maybe 1 or 2 kids at a time, where you'd usually pick up like 30 kids. And then the school holidays came. So it was actually good timing when the school holidays hit, because then it gave me a bit of time to adapt to the simulator racing. But it's going to be an interesting transition with what I do as a job to earn my income. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next couple of weeks with school.
Boys, incredible night of racing last night. It took a massive step up from week 1. I think the quality of the racing seemed to be broadly better. Zane, was that the impression you got from behind the steering wheel as well?
Yeah, I think the racing was good. Obviously, I was further back in the field than I would have liked. But like Lee Holdsworth sort of said on the chat, went from everyone crashing at turn 1 to turn 3. So made a bit of an improvement. But it was good racing. I think everyone enjoyed watching it. So it's a good spectacle, and obviously it's making the most of a pretty hard time. But I enjoyed it. It's always good fun.
And Jake, mate, you had a terrific night last night. So your results, challenging opening race at Silverstone, 24th, but then second in the reverse grid race, which was terrific, 10th in the third at Barcelona, and then P6. So a couple of top 10 results. Really solid evening for you, mate.
Yeah, for sure. I had a few top 10s, but it's up and down in every race, because these boys are doing a lot of hours on the simulator. If anyone thinks it's easy, it's not. We're probably on this simulator from 8 a.m. till the end of the day. So it's been long hours on it. So to do a good job like that, get a few top 10s, I'm pretty happy with it.
Hey, and you're 6th in the championship as well, mate. Were you aware of that?
Am I? No, I didn't even know. I think I was 12th after the last round, so I jumped 6. That's good.
Really solid stuff. And you're also leading the NTI Drivers' Championship of the 6 drivers backed by NTI, Truck Assist, yellow cover across the series. So a little bit of an internal team battle there as well. I want to go to Zane first because, absolutely. Zane, you were on the open wheel path in Europe and you've raced some of the guns of the sport that are over there now. What was it like racing Max Verstappen last night?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, we were in the same race. I wouldn't necessarily say I raced sort of other sides of the track, but no, it was pretty cool. I got to race against a few drivers of that sort of caliber when I was overseas, and got to race at some of the tracks that we've been racing at the past couple of weeks. So no, they were cool experiences, and it's good to have an F1 driver come in the series. It sort of legitimizes a little bit more and gets a little bit more global coverage. So yeah, it was pretty epic to have him, and hopefully we can get some more drivers like Lando Norris and that sort of stuff jump in the series and give us all a run for our money.
And boys, there's been some high-profile names mooted to jump in. Are there any in particular, Garry, you'd like to see make a bit of a cameo in the Supercars eSeries?
I haven't seen Daniel Ricciardo on a simulator at all at the moment. I'm just wondering whether a good old Australian battle against Australian drivers would be enough incentive to bring Daniel Ricciardo over. I think that would be really cool for Australian motorsport. So yeah, I'd like to see Daniel Ricciardo, maybe just a one-off race, have a bit of fun.
Jake, what about you? Any you'd like to see pop into our little championship?
Yeah, I don't really know. Really, I'm happy to race anyone, whoever's fast. I like to race whoever's the best, I guess. But no, I'm not too really sure.
Tell me about racing a supercar at Silverstone. Yes, it was virtually, but it's an amazing track. It's one of the most famous tracks in the world. Looked like it provided a few unique challenges to hustle a supercar around there quickly.
Yeah, it was good. So I've always watched that on TV. Now that I'm actually racing there online, it was a cool experience. And to go through, I don't really know a whole lot about the track, but I know that it's been resurfaced, half of it, and rebuilt. So to race on the old track as well and going onto that new circuit now, it was pretty epic.
Boys, do you talk about this? You're obviously teammates at the racetrack when we do this in the real world, but are you guys sort of communicating amongst the Matt Stone racing group between races? A bit of banter between the three of you? Gary?
Yeah, I think we saw a couple of teams sort of set the standard at the first round of the Esports Championship. So I think that on the Friday after the first race, we all had a bit of a team meeting, and we decided to start working with our engineers that we would work with in the real Supercar Championship. So as a team, we're sort of getting to know one another that little bit more, and I think it'll actually help us progress into real racing once it happens again really well.
A couple of 7th, 20th and 13th for you last night. Pretty solid evening, but I think the highlight for me was you're in a pretty wild 3-wide battle. I think Scott McLaughlin, possibly Whincup, was in that as well at Barcelona. There was some wild racing where you were in that one.
Yeah, to be honest, my heart was racing. I have to pinch myself every now and then. I'm only like on a simulator playing what we would call a game, but when there's an opportunity like me being a driver that's still learning how to race against champions like Whincup and McLaughlin that have won championships, and you're racing door to door with those guys, it's actually really good for me, and it's a great experience. So all of our careers are still getting bigger and better, and we're getting noticed that little bit more through the iRacing platform, because I suppose it's a bit more of a level playing field, I'd say. All the setups are fixed, and it's just about who can drive on the simulator well. And I had so much fun racing against those two guys.
All right, boys, let's have a look ahead to what is to come in the Supercars All Star eSeries. And Team NTI heads to the mountain next week. Jake Kostecki, virtual Mount Panorama or real, it's a hell of a place to go motor racing. What are you looking forward to about next week?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's going to be a bit different this time since there's not going to be any fans there, but it's still going to be cool anyway. Like, it's an unreal track to race to. I think I've been there a few times now, so to go there virtually again, it's going to be mega fun, and I'm keen to rub some panels with the other guys.
Gary, this is going to be a hell of a race, I would have thought. Anything at Bathurst is good, and I know the iRacing virtual version is very, very accurate for the real one. So I would imagine many of the Bathurst challenges, close walls, high average speed, they're all going to be pretty similar, aren't they?
Yeah, I can remember when I got this simulator 10 years ago, I'd never been to the track before, and I was using iRacing to learn it, and it's so realistic. So it is a massive benefit to be able to have such an iconic track on the simulator. But I think it'll be interesting to see maybe the drivers that might use off track a lot during the races and make a gain out of that. At Bathurst, you can't do that because you're literally driving in between the two walls. So I'd like to see maybe some livery changes. I'd love to see like an iconic Peter Brock livery or something to celebrate the Bathurst round.
What retro livery would you run? Zane, we'll start with you. What livery from the past in supercars, touring cars, Bathurst history would you rock on your Matt Stone Commodore?
Oh, decisions. I don't know. There's so many good options.
Who were you a fan of growing up? Sort of early Craig Lowndes is probably about your era, maybe a bit later.
I was always a Jamie Whincup fan because I started in 2009. But I remember before I started, I was always super into Whincup and stuff. I used to love like the Vodafone livery, sort of the chrome and the red. I thought that looked pretty sick. But obviously that's a Triple Eight thing. So I don't know what we could link it back to. Maybe like a Stone Brothers car or something cool like that.
Plenty of retro supercars history there. Jake, what about you?
I'd probably go the Ambrose car, I think, which is Stone Brothers as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, never quite cracked it for that Bathurst win. So that might be the opportunity. Gary, what about you?
I've got to tip my hat to Glenn Seaton. I'd love to run one of his liveries. Like, I can remember Glenn nearly winning many Bathurst 1000 races, and if I could maybe win a race for him, just to fill that void for him.
I like it. I like it a lot. Well, we're really looking forward to it, boys. Thank you so much for joining us on NTI Inside the eSeries. Really appreciate it. Super job by all three of you last night. We look forward to more of that in the coming weeks in the Supercars All Star eSeries. Well done, boys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Hang on, before we go.
Go, Gary.
I can't help myself, Zane. I can remember we made a bet, mate. And
I thought I got
don't
away
want to
with
sweep this one under the rug. Are you going to have to shave your hair and do the mohawk for round 3 because of the bet we made?
Oh, hang on.
And this is what we said. We said a shaved head with the mohawk, 0 on the sides.
Oh, wow. Zane, what was the bet?
Yeah. Looking back at it as a pretty stupid bet.
Yeah.
But I guess a bet's a bet. So, yeah, round 3, you'll be seeing me with a bit of abomination on my head, unfortunately.
What was the bet that caused you to offer something like that up, though?
We were doing that BP chat, and we had to make a bet, and Gary came up with the idea that one of us would have to shave our heads, and I was sort of like, no, can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Misso would hate it. And then Jake was like, mate, you're whipped. And then, like, that just, like, cracked me, and I was just like, stop it then. Whoever does it's going to get a mohawk. And then it all just escalated real quick, so now I really regret saying that.
So your first Bathurst eSeries race will be with a mohawk.
Yeah, quick racing stripe down my head.
Mate, there's no helmet to hide it this round either, because you'll be on national television driving a race car without a helmet, so everyone will see it. Massive international TV audience.
Yeah, I know. A big webcam came in my face. I already pulling off an ugly enough driving face, so this is just icing on the cake.
Hey, Zane, I've got an idea. You could plug NTI, like, don't cut the shape of NTI on the side of your head. Just get some extra logos in there for them.
Yeah, I don't think my brother's that good a haircut. I'm just getting a trimmer and he's doing it.
See how you go. I'm sure there's a bonus in that for you if you can make that happen for next week. I love it. We'll be watching that with very interest. We'll word up Supercar Media and make sure they get the big full frame shot of you in your simulator for next week's broadcast, Zane. Gary,
I think the camera might have issues next week. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think it will. I think this is great.
A bit weird.
Zane, Gary, Jake, thanks for joining us, boys. Good luck next week. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, mate.